Yashvi Aryan, and she is an international graduate student pursuing an MS in Pharmaceutics at Northeastern University, and she is passionate about advancing her technical skills and knowledge in the pharmaceutical industry. She is also the current graduate student ambassador for the Pharmaceutics program at Northeastern. Please join me in welcoming Yashvi Aryan.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm not giving these presentations again. Okay. So, since the talk is about passion, I'm going to say how this was not my initial game plan. This was not my passion. I found it along the way. So, to start off, reintroducing myself, my name is Yashvi Aryan. I'm an international graduate student pursuing my master's in pharmaceutics at Northeastern University. Now, the part comes, how did you decide that this is your passion? First of all, I would say I searched up the word passion on Google. It just showed me a bunch of synonyms, which were zeal, enthusiasm, motivation, drive, grit. But in an everyday life, what exactly is passion? Well, you being so fascinated by something that you do where you lose your track of time, that is something that is called passion. And for me, that was being cooped up in the lab like a rat pipetting all day long. Now, how did I decide that this was my path, this is my future? So, at one point of time in everybody's lives, people come up and ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? Somebody says they want to be an artist, somebody says a fashion designer, somebody says, I want to be an engineer, a businessman, a painter, a dancer. Well, I very boldly said, I want to be a surgeon, and that is yes. My 12-year-old self, that is my handwriting right there. Am I a surgeon today? Nope. But am I passionate about what I'm doing in the lab? Definitely yes. Now, the part comes up, how? How did I figure this is my pathway? There were many instances in my life, I would say, that led me to that. At the time, my grandmother got diagnosed with breast cancer, and soon later, so did my aunt. Now, the part came up, I wanted to always be part of the healthcare industry. I was inclined towards biology as a major. I always wanted to save lives, help people, be involved, want to know why is it happening this way? Why can't we just treat the disease? Why are only a certain fraction of people suffering through that disease? Okay, so I decided it's time to do a bachelor's in pharmacy and I'll do an MBA. I'll be a corporate girlie, sit at a desk, push through emails, write emails, send them out, and basically make my product, which is available, and reach it as far as possible. Make it more available to people. But in my 4-month stint at Merck, which we all know as, I realized I do not want to be at the desk. I want to be at a lab bench. I do not want to be the seller, the pusher of the product into the market. I want to be the creator, the mind behind it. I want to be, all scientific about it and be like, why isn't this symptom being treated because of this drug? And how can I make that work? So I decided it's time for another master's. I will do a master's in science at Northeastern, or precisely just in the States. But why specifically in the States? So on comparing it, I realized that India would not have been my best course of action. There was less funding, less infrastructure, and so to say, it would not have been my best decision. So I decided the States it is. But you must be thinking, why is she talking on and on about pharmaceutics? Why is she talking on and on about biotech and research? Well, to help you understand this, let's talk about the 2 pandemics that the world has faced. First is I completely forgot about this. I had to talk about my hurdles. So every passion and every pathway has its hurdles, we say that. We have to persevere through it, again, easier said than done. This was my first internship in a lab scenario, 1 month into the internship. And my manager comes up to me and he says, this is the sample, as you can see right there, run the assay. Day 1, attempt number 1, I failed. The same day, I ran it again. I failed. I ran it again for the second day. I failed. It was on day 4, attempt number 8, that I pulled through, and he's like, this is the gold standard. As scientists, we are supposed to be reproducible, reliable, and most importantly, resourceful. The same assay, if done over and over again, should give us the same result, and I was clearly failing through. So, maybe the 8th attempt was a fluke. So I did it again on the 9th, and I was still able to pull through. Well, talking about the AIDS pandemic. The pandemic started in 1981. The first victim was a 16-year-old Robert Rayford. The problem with this pandemic was nobody knew how to cure it, nobody knew how to treat it. There was a lot of fear and stigma. People were not even ready to treat the victims and the people who were suffering from it. Why? We didn't even know how it was being transmitted. Is it through touch? Is it through, droplets like the common cold? Later we realized that it is through fluid exchanges. But there was no cure for it, and still there is no cure for it. But today, the treatment is there, it is manageable. You can live a normal, healthy life, but it took them 15 years to find the first therapy, which is the ART, the antiretroviral therapy. 15 years. Cut to the COVID pandemic. We have lived through the pandemic. We have seen the impact of it, the mortality of it, the infectious rate of it. But it took Pfizer and Moderna less than a year to find the mRNA vaccine for it. Less than a year, which means every researcher out there is basically competing against each other to be the first one to find the vaccine. Now, what is this mRNA vaccine? It sounds so fancy, and what is a lipid nanoparticle, as you can see right there? Well, lipid nanoparticles are these tiny, tiny beams. The smaller in size, the better. They carry that RNA, which helps us to make the protein, which helps us to battle these diseases. What is an RNA? So, we have DNA, as we all know, our genetic code, which also transcribes to the RNA. Now, the best part about using nanoparticles as treatment is you can basically functionalize them in every way. The inaccessible part of the body, it can reach right there. Well, if you don't want it to be in the shape of a sphere, make it a cuboid. It will still reach right there. So, maybe this is the future of medicine. Well, it is certainly in terms of cancer. We all know cancer has a lot of issues. When we talk about chemotherapy, radiation, the first and foremost thing everybody says is it will take a toll on your body. It is going to harm your normal cells. There are going to be side effects. But you want to make the treatment more localized, you want to make the treatment more targeted. Better therapeuticity is how we call it, and less harm. And that's where nanoparticles come into the picture. Now, this is just one form of nanoparticles, but pharmaceutics as a field is one of the most dynamic fields, I would say. Why so? Take an example of this. You have hydrogels. You put them once in your body and they're going to give you a prolonged effect. You don't ever have to take another dose again. Imagine putting a biodegradable implant. You put it once in your arm and it will last for 3 years, just giving you the drug in minute amounts every day. You have microneedles. I would not like to take that vaccine with a long injection every day, or weekly, or monthly. It's just like a nicotine patch. You slap it on and it will keep imparting the drug to you. And lastly, we have personalized medicine. Personalized medicine is just more and upcoming because of AI, where you know a person's entire genetic code, and it will form a therapy curated specifically for you. So, I hope I was able to inspire budding scientists in here. And lastly, I would say that passion is not just about success. It's mostly about your journey. It is definitely about discovering more about yourself in it. So whatever you are passionate about, pursue it relentlessly. Let your curiosity guide you and let those challenges shape you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Right now, we'll just take a quick 10 to 15 minute intermission.